I'm going to show you how to make any song sound cinematic regardless of the genre, because the truth is that you can turn any genre into a cinematic sounding genre if you know how. So whether you make pop, folk, rock, electronic, or whatever, I'm going to show you exactly how you can take those genres and then add a little bit of seasoning into it to make it sound cinematic. Now, what do I know? Well, it turns out cinematic music is what I specialize in. I've had my music on Netflix, TV, commercials. In fact, one of the songs I'm going to be showing you in this very video is literally going to be on another big Netflix show later this month. I'm going to show you examples of taking songs that, had I produced them otherwise, they would not be in a cinematic genre, and I'm going to show you exactly why it is that they feel so cinematic. But before we actually open the DAW and get into this, you need to understand the 5 primary ways that you can actually turn something into a cinematic genre, and I'm going to tell you them right now. Number 1 is obviously strings. Strings alone can take just about anything and then just add the beauty of cinematicness to it. You could have a EDM song, but you throw some strings in there, boom, cinematic. You could have a heavy metal song and then boom, add some strings, cinematic. I mean, goodness, look at We Came as Romans or Red or Starset. These are bands that make really heavy rock music and then they just put strings into it and boom, everyone's like cinematic rock. The second thing you can do is utilizing textures or synths or pianos. Basically, I'm putting all these into kind of one category, which is textures, cinematic textures. I'll be showing you what I mean with this specifically. Piano is an example of a cinematic texture that you can use, whether it be really soft, delicate pianos or those really big, epic, powerful, stabby piano chords. Either way, just about any genre, you throw in some really good sounding piano or throw in some cinematic textures like synth textures or orchestral textures, boom. Instant cinema. Number 3 is dynamics. Believe it or not, a big reason why music sounds cinematic is because it feels like what a story sounds like. And stories do this. They go up and down. There's the moment of exposition and there's the climax and oh no, the hero's gonna do this and oh no, the hero's gonna do that. And you know, it's like very dramatic, right? And so good cinematic music tends to be very dynamic. You're gonna have really soft softs and really big louds. Now that's of course not a rule. These are 5 things that you can use. Not every single one of these 5 things needs to be used all of the time to make something feel cinematic, but dynamics, tell you what, dynamics, it'll make things sound cinematic. Number 4 is reverb. Turns out that if you want stuff to sound cinematic, you can literally add just the right amount of reverb or space. Delay can be used this way as well, but reverb is an exceptionally powerful tool in making us feel the size of something. So you might have a song where it sounds pop, but just by giving the vocal more space in terms of reverb, we perceive that as a bigger sound, a bigger soundscape, like this is now in a bigger environment, and that alone makes things feel cinematic. Now you combine that idea of a bigger space mixed with everything else that we're gonna be demonstrating in this video, which is why if you wanna make it all the way cinematic, you do all of them together. But reverb is huge, and I'll be showing you that here in just a second. And finally, number 5 is percussion. Percussion is like 50% of all music, and if you want your music to sound cinematic, you don't even need to necessarily use strings or textures or pianos or big spatial reverbs. If you just have more cinematic sounding drums, boom, instantly we're in a movie, baby. And again, I'm gonna be showing you that. So when it comes to drums, there's a lot of different things we can do to make things feel more cinematic on the percussion side. You can go all the way, which is just literally trailer drums, like big epic trailer drums. So that's going all the way cinematic. But the other ways that you can go cinematic with the percussion is using toppers. Toppers can be used in a lot of different genres, but then they just give you this kind of feeling of cinema or cinematicness, to use that word again. All right, cool. So there it is. The end of the video, I guess. No, don't leave the video. I'm gonna show you how this actually sounds in some real examples. Let's open the DAW now. The very first song that I have is actually one that I produced live on this channel. So if you wanna go back into my live streams, you can literally watch as I produce this very thing. But what I'll show you is what this sounds like with just the keyboard and vocal, because if I were just to show you this, you'd probably think this is gonna be a pop song. And I'm gonna show you how we turned it into this absolutely gorgeous cinematic song instead. So here's just the keyboards and my temporary vocal. This is a dummy vocal. We haven't actually tracked vocals on it yet.
Dreams come true if you're brave enough to chase them. Don't you know what you can do? You gotta find a way to push through.
That right there, if you were to give this to just about any other pop producer, they would absolutely turn this into just a really awesome emotional pop song, right? Let's actually take a listen to what I did with this though. So as I play this, just think about the things we've already talked about, right? Strings, percussion, reverb, dynamics, the textures, all this stuff. Let's take a listen.
Dreams come true if you're brave enough to chase them. Don't you know what you can do? You gotta find a way to push through.
So just like that, this automatically, boom, instantly sounds cinematic because guess what? We're using a lot of strings. Listen to this. Now, obviously, I'm using some live strings mixed with the virtual strings. You don't have to do that necessarily, but it does sound really great. The other thing is, like, look at the textures that I've got going on here. So these right here, synth type elements, textural elements, these are very cinematic, kind of ambient, kind of ethereal sounding textures that really blend well once you throw in the strings. You throw in the strings just with that, and boom, you got something beautiful here. What about the percussion though? Percussion actually plays a huge role, but this is not your typical cinematic percussion. We'll get into some more of the typical stuff a little bit later, but I'm using some interesting elements in here. Egg shakers and tambourines and rain sticks and a cajon, a thump, kind of a clicky sound, delayed snare, underwater sounding stuff. This is stuff that you're not gonna find in typical pop music, but it does help push this into a little bit of a different sonic universe. All together.
Don't you know what you can do? You gotta find a way to push through.
Example number one, and you can see almost everything we've talked about so far is right here. And this is just one section of the song. This isn't even talking about other elements of the song too. Actually, let's just stay on this song for a second. Let me just show you the very beginning of this to show you how much the textures make a difference in the very beginning. This is the intro. I'm pretty sure if you were to play this to just about anybody, they would immediately feel like, yes, this feels cinematic. And another word for cinematic can also be emotional. When songs feel emotional, it gives us this scope, this sense of what you would see on a screen when you're listening to a film score. Let's move on to the next example. Yo, real quick, I want to let you know that we just got done launching a brand new private community called Larsen's Lab. It's where we're hosting a weekly feedback and a monthly dedicated workshop training. So if you're a serious music producer or self-producing artist and you want actual feedback on your music, then check the link in the description down below. We'll see you inside the community. All right, example number two is another song of mine called Way Back Home, which I also, hey, crazy enough, I made a whole video documenting this whole process. You can check it out right here. And this is a big one too. And guess what? I'm using almost all the same stuff that we've already talked about. We're gonna show you some more examples here. But let me just show you what this sounds like right out of the gate here. This is the last chorus.
Look to the stars and you'll see a world beyond what you could ever know. Just open your eyes and see that the universe is calling out to you wherever you are.
Look at that. This is cinema. It is absolutely cinema. Let's just mute these vocals out for a second. Just take a look at the instrumental. So what did we already talk about? Strings, textures, dynamics, reverb, and percussion. And guess what? Every single one of those things is present right here. Let's start with the strings. So strings right here, again, you know, I use live strings a lot actually, but you can see here, I blend it typically with virtual strings. So let's just take a listen to the strings. I mean, come on. That is just, that's movie magic right there. But what about textures? Well, textures, let's just show you just the low end textures first. Well, those are some textures. What about this one? What about this one? This one. This one. This one. This one. This one. What about this one? Now you put all that together with the low end. So I'm using textures here to, in a sense, make this feel more modern, but it also feels really cinematic. These are still giving us that feeling of, wow, the grandeur and the scope and the majesticness of all of this, okay? But then you look at the percussion again, which is actually kind of a similar type of percussion as what we did in the first example, but let's just take a listen here. Funny enough, I actually sampled human bodies hitting themselves, and that's what a lot of this is. So whenever we talk about percussion within cinematic music, this is what I would call still cinematic, but not big epic trailer cinematic, because this definitely does not sound like a boom, right? Like you do that kind of a beat in this song, and it's gonna not feel nearly as cinematic. So remember what I talked about when I talked about the very beginning? I was talking about like toppers. Hey, guess what I mean by that? I mean this. Let's go. Some hits. Which, by the way, those are the stomping on the floor, which is so legit. Yeah. Djembe. Some chest. Let's go. Some djembe, cajon. Let's go. I mean, come on. You put all this together and you got something quite cinematic, I might say so myself. All right, this next song is called The Story Has Just Begun, which is a song that I did in collaboration with Moonwater. This song has been used a ton. In fact, it was on an episode of Love is Blind recently, and later this month it's gonna be on another big Netflix show, which I don't think I can say which one yet, but it's coming. I'm gonna play this for you, but as I do so, I want you to be thinking about how it uses every single thing we've talked about. Strings, dynamics, drums, space, and percussion? No, textures. Oh my gosh. So let's play it, take a listen, and we'll break it down.
This is a story. It is yours and it is mine. There's joy in the morning. The future is bright. The story is just
Booyah. All right, so this is another one where actually there's no live strings in this one at all. So there you go, all virtual strings. All this is audio because this is a track I did quite a while ago, so I had to print it all down. Let's take a look at the very first thing, which is the strings. There's lots of strings in here, lots of layers of strings in here, but I want to show you what's actually going on here so you can take a listen and have a good idea of why it sounds the way it sounds. Don't write your strings to be just like chords. That's lame, that's boring, it doesn't sound very good. This is the way to do it. Melody, counter melody, there's motion, there's movement, it's got some guts to it. All right, that's the very first thing. But what about the next thing, which is textures? Well, textures are all throughout this track, but if we go to verse 2, in particular, I wanna show you this here. Let's just listen to the textures in the instrumental here. Come on, let's go. Bass. So these textures here are making such a big difference in creating this sense of scale, in the sense of scope, of the bigness of it. Even though it's still intimate, it gives you this sense, this feeling of like, wow, there's this whole world out here. That also takes us into the dynamics part of this. This song feels cinematic because the big moments are really big, but also the delicate moments are pretty delicate. If we go all the way to the very beginning, the very start of this, the very first vocal that we hear, listen to how delicate this is.
Let's find a place where we can get away. Just spend a day. Dream a dream.
Even a little bit of the textures there, but it's still very delicate, even with those textures. The other thing is the reverb aspect of this. There's a big space to this in her vocals in particular. But let's go to this first chorus here and just listen to how it opens up and it really blooms and blossoms.
The story's just begun. The story's just begun.
Let's compare that to the final chorus. Ready?
The story's just begun.
so much bigger, so much bigger. And so the dynamics, the whole point of dynamics is you're taking someone from a starting point and you're taking them along the journey of the piece of music and actually making them feel like we're gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna take you on this ride with me. And there's gonna be these low moments, these big moments, these interesting moments, right? That's the idea of making something dynamic. Really good cinematic music is going to be very dynamic. And that brings us to one of my favorite aspects of this, drums. And this is the song that we just went hard on the drums for sure, especially on the big epic kind of trailer drums. Let's just go to the ending here. Let me just show you what's going on here. It's nuts. We are using all of the things, right, in this. We're using toppers, we're using booms, we're using cymbals, we're using trailer hits, all sorts of fun stuff. If you want to know what trailer drums sound like, this is what trailer drums sound like right here. Yeah. Now, where did I get that? Keep Forest. Keep Forest has some really good stuff. Damage has some really good stuff. These are like the two libraries. Keep Forest is a brand, by the way, not a library. I think I'm using like Evolution Devastator or something like that. But really, really good stuff, okay? Damage, heavy Aussie stuff is fantastic. Listen to some of these other drums in here. What about this one? Little ethnic drums, some higher ethnic drums. Plastics. Woods. Filtered, oh yeah, let's go. Get a little topper. Little 4 on the floor. And all of a sudden, you have this really interesting thing. And then booms, you can't miss the booms. Boom, yeah. Risers and cymbals, that's another huge part of this, guys. Get the risers, the cymbals, the drum rolls. All together, I mean, come on, let's go. But dynamics also play a role in the percussion, because if we go to verse 2 in the percussion, let's listen to what we got.
Just one look in,
Very simple.
I know everything will be alright.
Right? Here we go.
Future is bright. Hold on tight.
So even the drums, there's restraint, there's development that's happening, there's dynamics that's happening, and it's amazing. By the way, if you want to know how I actually produce strings to sound awesome, just check out this video next. See you there.